Hey everybody, how you doing? Come on in. It's an impromptu Shawn Yankey show. I want to take another swing at this because I had some settings problems and it threw me off and it got in my head. And the best thing to do when you fall off your bike is get back on it. So I'm taking another swing and working out some kinks as we start this new show, this new direction, going under a new name. And honestly, hey Joan, honestly, I got a little rattled by the newness of it anyway. Because now it opens up all these doors and everything tried to rush in at once. And I tried to talk it and fit in way too many things. And when I was trying to prepare, I was like, it all got so big. I built it up too much. I forgot what made it what it is. And that was us hanging out and talking. That was what it based around. It all grows from there. And I didn't need to try to jam it all home. And I wasn't happy with how I got a certain point across. So I want to take another stab at that today. And I am going to give a little time for people to get in and for me to make sure that things are going good and there's no problems. Everything looks good. And let me see. Everything looks like we're going. Everything's good on the settings. I see comments in all places. So we're live right now. This is, like I said, an impromptu episode of Yankey Show. And I was going to just talk about a few things that I wanted to talk about just to get the conversation going. One of them is, who knew Britney Spears was a revolutionary? Isn't that cool? This is not really recent news, but she has called for a general strike and, these kind of things like rising up on her Instagram. She's been talking about this stuff. I used to have kind of a crush on Britney, and I feel a little redeemed about that now. I was ashamed of it. That was a skeleton in my closet. I was a little bit like, that was kind of weird. But I was on to something. That's what it was. I saw a fellow fighter, is what I saw. Let's look at it like that. But I think that's cool. I like that there's this awakening happening in society and that people are rising up and becoming aware, and that more celebrities, big name people, are bringing attention to these things. Because the awakening, while it is nice to be a part of it, needs to get hurried up. It needs to really get going. Because we're in a war. We're in class warfare. Hey, Nissa. How you doing? I can't see who's here on Facebook. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Anyone that is tech savvy, get in touch with me, because I don't know, or social media savvy even, I don't know where the best place to stream from is. A page or your timeline? I'm not sure. I know the pages give the creator better analytics and stuff. You can see more stats and things like that. But I don't know what's better for the viewers. So if you do know those kind of things, I'm kind of just swinging in the dark. Let me know and reach out. Because I'd like to see this grow and eventually become something bigger. But hey, Wen. Hello, how are you? Let me just briefly say what we do around here, and we'll just get started. I got a few things I wanted to talk about. We just hang out and talk about things that are going on in the world from the perspective of people that are trying to change it. We don't accept this rigged, greed-driven system, and we want to tear it down. So we tend to look at everything from a revolutionary view and from our perspective of truth. That's our interest usually too, is spreading the truth and informing people, helping to wake people up. We're just seeking the truth and seeking to spread it. So Joan says, what would happen if Bernie actually ended up with more delegates than Biden now? Then Bernie would, in theory, have the chance to be the nominee. I don't know that there is any possibility that the DNC would allow it. We know that they can move the goalposts. We know that they can change the rules on a whim, and we've seen them do it. They support their right to do it. They're a corporation. They're not, and this isn't protected. Like I've seen a lot of people have asked, well, why doesn't the UN intervene? Because, the exit polls were sometimes off, well, always in double digits, usually in the range of 13%. But in one state, it was up to 26%. The exit polls were off, always in Biden's favor. And people had asked me, why didn't the UN get involved? Because this isn't protected. The primary is not protected under the Constitution or under, I guess, worldwide election laws either. It's not recognized as a real election even. So it's kind of a stage show. And if Bernie ended up with more delegates, you would think he would be the nominee. I don't think this happens in the voting booth anymore. I really think that this is ours now. I keep thinking about a comment the other day. Dion said that Bernie took the training wheels off. And that's exactly what happened. The more I think about it, the more true it becomes. I'm not saying ignore politics. Keep these bastards held responsible. Stay in their face and make sure they know that you're aware and being vigilant and watching what they're doing, for sure. But I wouldn't hang our hopes, especially on taking the big prize anytime soon. We're going to have to tear this up from the ground up. We're going to have to get involved at the local levels and be really active and vigilant in this fight to make these changes happen. But we can still do all of this. Like, I sat here today trying to think, because one of the pages, this page in particular that I shared from today, Our Revolution War Room, this is my page I started for the Daily Burn, which was the show that this was kind of born out of, that and a couple other shows. This is a melding together of all of those. But we used to do that every day, and that was a show for the political revolution. And we talked about this fight that we're in and how we're decided and determined to make sure that we get it. That's all still on the table. I'm not backing down. It's still our revolution. And I thought about renaming the page, but I was like, what would I even name it? It is our revolution. This is ours. And I think now it's our turn to take full ownership of it. Bernie's going to continue fighting in his way. And and we can support him in it, but I think you can walk and chew gum at the same time, and we need to get active. We need to get disobedient. We need to have civil disobedience. We need to do things that Britney's talking about. Organize a general strike. I am wanting to put together like a little panel or something and just get brainstormers to just come up with what things we can do. Direct action. That's the kind of stuff I think we should do now. But getting involved in your local and state politics in a big way, super important. Get very informed in what laws directly affect you. Jones says, I'm on Facebook. Let me see if YouTube. Hey, System Failure. How you doing, brother? So YouTube's here. Jones says, I've seen that Wisconsin is missing a lot of ballots. I'm going to wow that because it should be amazing, but it's really not, is it? That happened in, what state was it? Now I went blank now on the state. If Ginger was here, she'd know, or Steve. But there was something like 15 flash drives missing, uncounted votes that were found. Other examples, there's all kinds of times that they do that and things just come up missing, forget to be counted. It's rigged. It's rigged. And with it not being protected, they stand to lose nothing by rigging it. As long as the people buy into the system, there's nothing that can be done to change it. We have to stop buying into it. And tear it down, rebuild it. And I think that happens from the bottom up. It would be nice to grab the presidency, and that is still on the table. Like, it could still happen. Like she asked, what would happen if Bernie got the most delegates? On paper, he would be the nominee. If Biden falls apart before July, on paper, Bernie would be the nominee. But in reality, I think what they would do is insert someone like Bloomberg or maybe even Buttigieg or another one of those people that had ran as a second option well before they would go with Bernie Sanders. Just based on what they've shown us. They've never played by the rules, and they've never cared much for what the voters want. Alicia says, how in the world is something so important like a presidential primary unprotected? It's unbelievable. It is. Well, the general election is. The general election is protected. If this kind of stuff was going on in the general, then it would be looked upon as a big deal. They just don't look at this as an important part of our democracy when it's really the most important. This is when we're picking and vetting who's going to run for president. You know, by the time they get their election, the way it's set up now, it really doesn't matter who wins. Either way, they win. They've already handpicked both candidates and set the whole thing up. So, yeah, Joan, they're just appointing the president now. They take away your option. They take away your choices. We were killing it. Think about it. We were doing fantastic. We were setting all kinds of records. We had the most volunteers ever to a presidential campaign. We had the most individual contributions ever to a presidential campaign. We had the most in every category you want to sit and name off. Bernie had massive support, and they did all they could to derail it. But they can't if we keep moving forward. The only way that they could derail anything is if we stop now, if we fold up. So support what Bernie's doing, but also, like I said, get active and be vigilant, working directly with things you can affect. And then we need to plan things like general strikes and like boycotts and fighting back with our money and our numbers and our voices. That's what we do now, you know, and support these progressive unicorns like Tim Canova. He was on the feed the other day, and I've reached out to him, and I'm hoping to hear back from him whether or not he would come on for a discussion about these things that he's went through and what he's fighting for to make changes. And we're going to try to line up a lot of stuff like that in the future. I'm going to reach out to a lot of other people and see if they'll come on. But I want to have those kind of discussions and talk about real ways to move us forward. We can do these things. There's plenty we can do. We don't have to feel like we have to wait for their permission. You know, nothing I was saying on the burn changed. I had a friend on Facebook said something to me along those lines, and he's right the more I think about it. He's like, nothing changed today. We're still fighting. This is our revolution. So that's why I didn't feel like changing the name of the page, and I just don't know. I'm so scattered now because with changing the name and no longer being the Daily Burn, I'm like, does it still fit on the Our Revolution page? I guess we're still a revolution show. We will still focus on that stuff because, as I said all along, this was Bernie or vest. This was never Bernie or bust. This is more than an election. This is class warfare, and everything's on the line. We've made up our minds that we're going to get these things, so we're going to keep pushing and fighting until we get them. Wynn says boycotts are the best weapon. I really believe that. We need to fight with our money. And that's what they care about. Hit them where it hurts. Jones says Pete B was neck and neck with Biden before Super Tuesday. It made no sense for him to drop out the day before. It was a coup. It was a plan. They had meetings. They got together and had organized meetings on how to stop Bernie Sanders and his revolution. The people, how to stop us. They got together and organized how they would do it. It was a plan. They wanted to see if they could spread it all out and split the delegates so much that they could slide someone in, you know. But Bernie was doing so well. You know, Vegas odds had us projected to win 14 of 16 states on Super Tuesday before they pulled their shit. That was I don't know what word to describe it. It made no sense. It's insanity what happened. Every candidate drops out and endorses Joe Biden. And then on blind name recognition, Joe Biden manages to pull enough support on Super Tuesday to take a dramatic piece of what should have been an overwhelming victory for Bernie Sanders. It was the dirtiest shit I've ever seen, really. But yeah, Pete had no reason to drop out other than for the fact that he was never really running a presidential campaign. Pete Buttigieg never intended to be president. He had a different agenda. His was to fight against and be the propaganda piece for fighting against Medicare for all. And I really believe that. Andrew Yang's piece was to push UBI. Andrew Yang was never really running for president. That's why it doesn't surprise me that he nominated or endorsed Joe Biden and wants to be on his cabinet. It doesn't surprise me at all. Andrew Yang was running to push UBI to the people. They run to push an agenda and a message and to get things that they want. They weren't really running for president. None of them thought they were ever going to win. How you doing?
All right.
But I think Bloomberg will end up being the nominee. If I had to bet, if I was going to bet or put money on it right now, out of the nominees that you can bet on right now, a lot of people saying it's going to be Cuomo, that they're going to try to slide Cuomo in. I don't think they're going to pull somebody in that was never in the race. And I also don't think that Bloomberg has spent $1 billion so far to not be president. I don't think that's why he's spending so much money to not be president. So I got to say I think it's Bloomberg that they're going to try to push on the people, because Joe's going to fall apart. Joe won't make it. He won't. He can't. Jones says, I seen a post of parade past Bernie's house today to thank him. Bernie didn't fail us. That's another thing that I promised in the title that we would get into. So let's get into it really quick. Bernie didn't fail us. I really believe that he didn't. He empowered us. He taught us how to rise up, how to fight back against what's holding us down, what's holding society down. If we do the things that he taught us and keep going in the direction he pointed us in, we can make this stuff happen. And I think, 40, 50 years from now, Bernie will be remembered as a hero in the political movement. And so he didn't fail us. He never said he was going to do it all for us. Sorry, my cat's in the window. She loves the window. It's right by my desk. But he didn't fail us. I don't agree with what he's decided to do. I'll be honest with you. I don't. And we can talk about that. We have a bit, but we can talk about it more. A lot of people are still hurting. So, yeah, that's on the table to talk about. I don't agree with it. But I don't have any ill feelings towards the man. Let me open this for her. There you go. He did what he did for whatever reason he did it. He's only one man. That's something I always tried to see that everybody understood on the Daily Burn. Bernie Sanders was just one man. He can't do everything for us. He did a lot. He's led a great career, gotten a lot accomplished. I'm not mad at him, I think now it's ours, Jones says, so how is it that the votes of the delegates don't count? Well, like I was saying, because they're a private corporation, that Jerry Beck sued the DNC in 2016. And in court depositions, official court depositions, they admit that they don't have to do what the voters want at all, that they can insert anyone they want. Their exact words were something along the lines of, we can be in a smoke-filled room smoking cigars and pick whichever nominee we choose. Insert anybody. We don't have to follow the rules. It's a sham. It's theatrics. Bernie was trying to. I think part of what Bernie was doing was exposing that, which is weird for why he didn't come right out and say it. But this is a theory, which is okay, because on this show we do talk about theories, and you could have your own rationale for why Bernie might do what he's doing. But I think he did all he could for us without risking his life. I think he went as far, and maybe pushed the line a little bit at times, but as far as he possibly could without getting himself assassinated. It's just my guess. No, you can't come over here. Stay over there. Jones says he made that very clear in every speech, that he can't do anything by himself. No, it's always been about us, and I think it was always about empowering us. He wanted us to overwhelm the system, and we came damn close. But they proved that, A, they don't play by any rules, and they will do everything possible to stop a progressive from getting through. And that's really all they're there for. They'll even lose and run the whole damn car off the road in the process. So, I don't know why. I would have, if I was Bernie Sanders, what I would have done is I would have stormed out. I would be like, you know what, the hell with this. If it's too late to get on the ballot, I would take the Green Party's nomination. I don't see why not. You know what I mean? That's what I would have done. But that's me, and I believe in that situation. From the second he decided to do that, his life would be in danger. I don't believe that's stretching the truth or being dramatic at all. I think that's exactly what they do to those kind of people. Steve says Bernie wimped out. He wouldn't throw a punch. He kept saying Biden's a good friend, decent man. He said Biden can beat Trump. He did. I'm done with him. It's mind-boggling. Jimmy Dore was right. Jimmy Dore is really harsh. Jimmy Dore is not 100% wrong. Jimmy Dore is just really harsh. And I think it's foolish to take focus away from everything the man did do. There was a lot he didn't do. You're right. He didn't throw a punch. He did keep saying that Biden is a good man, a good friend, decent man. He said that he could beat Trump multiple times. That's a lie. He looked like he was lying when he said it. So, I don't know. I get you, but I'm appreciative of the stuff that we've been brought by this movement that he began, that I think now is ours, and we can do whatever we want with it. I think it would be foolish to splinter and become weak again, and to all just break off in little pieces like we did before. Don't let everything hinge on Bernie is my main issue. I don't want to see everything we've worked for fall apart just because Bernie decided to suspend his campaign. We can't stop our revolution. There's so much more to it than just electing Bernie president. And like I said, that's still on the table. So if that's the only reason why you were in, which I don't think any of us were only in it for that reason, but if it is, you can still do that, and we're still pushing for that. But there's so much more that we want to do, and so many more changes we want to make, and we're still going to make all those changes. So I get you, Steve. I understand, and I feel it. And I can even listen to Jimmy talk, and even you. Steve's been venting on Facebook, and rightfully so, about how hurt he is. She's ridiculous. And I understand. I get it. I have the same feelings. I just trying to think of the whole picture, and when I do, I can't be mad at him. I have a lot of questions, you know, and I've seen some good ones brought up that I'd like answers to, and I don't agree, but Jones says he knows that he does have power right now in the Senate. Yeah, and they say Obama pressured him. I don't know how true that is, but Obama put the final nail in the coffin last time. So wouldn't that be ironic? Why would he keep listening to Obama if it was Obama that pressured him? Susan says, on both sides of the aisle, they don't give a damn about us. They absolutely do not, and they're there to work against you. The Republicans as well. I don't mean to focus so much on the Democrats. The Democrats, I feel, are a direct enemy to democracy because they're a private corporation and because they don't have to follow the rules of democracy and can do as they please. I think that's what makes them dangerous and a threat, and the reason why they need to be exposed. The Republicans, on the surface, I can't just ideologically support the things that they're in favor of. So I guess it's foolish sometimes, or not foolish, but I leave them out sometimes because I just assume everyone knows, okay, they're already out in the open that they're against everything we stand for. But these people over here in the blue suits that pretend that they're on our side, they're dangerous because they got people fooled and they're directly working against us. They go to the same parties, have all the same friends as all these others. Jeff says he doesn't even believe he himself can win. They want Trump if it otherwise means Bernie. Yep. Jeff says Bernie could still be the nomination. He's suspended. He didn't completely stop. He's still on all the ballots. And like I said, we're going to support that. I am. I'm wearing my Bernie shirt right now. I'm still on Team Bernie. I'm also on Team Us. More. That's my main team. I want to make sure that team stays together, that we don't splinter off, that we stay focused on making these changes. We can do that all just like normal, just like before. Nothing changed. So Bernie had some terrible advisors, Blue says. You're damn right. And I would have fired each one on the spot the second they told me anything about backing down or quitting. And if maybe, you wonder sometimes, I do anyway, what it's like to be a fly on the wall, what it's like to know what happened in these situations. Because they say that Tulsi met with Bernie before dropping out and even before beginning her campaign. But what did she feel or see or notice in Bernie that made her decide not to endorse him? Maybe there was more to it that she knew or saw coming that we didn't. Sabrina says we need a leader with a backbone to get behind. We can't be a faceless revolution. We need to start looking then. Find somebody that we can all get behind and follow, or one of us needs to become that person. I'm going to get impatient and let it be me, and don't do that. Jeff said Democrats are criminals. They are. They need to be destroyed. That, I think one of the very first things that we do as a direct organization moving together, united to make change, is tear the Democratic Party to the ground. They have to be completely destroyed. And every shill that has worked against the people and has enriched themselves fighting against everything that is in the best interest of the population of this country needs to be removed from office. They need to be all thrown in a dumpster like they do in other countries, but they got to be removed from power. We have to take them down. And I would really like to see a focus on, I hope that's not bothering everybody because she's meowing at cars. I know that you've probably never seen a cat do that. It's funny though. Or you might have seen a cat do that. Cats do some weird things, and they get a bad rap because they're so independent. People love the dogs, have more personality and all that. But cats have personality too. She is crazy. Anyways. Yeah, Bernie had terrible advisors, and the Democrats are criminals. They're wolves in sheep clothes. You're right, Jeff. Jones says New York wants to cancel the primary now. Cancel, or reschedule it? You don't mean cancel, do you? Susan says Martin Luther King said it's the moderate Dems say what? Wait. They are more dangerous than the KKK. Yeah, they're. Come here. They're dangerous because people believe them and they believe in them and they follow them and believe that that's what. Ow! Don't you? What are you crouching me for? They believe that that's who's going to make that change happen for them, and that person's really going to fight for them because that's what they say they're going to do. They don't pay any attention to what they really do. None at all. Yeah, Jeff. Yes, I agree with you. He said I'd delete my left nut to be a fly on that wall. Oh my God, I would love to have been involved in that conversation. I'm really thinking she must have known something because Tulsi did have a backbone. Tulsi would swing. Tulsi would fight, and I really can't imagine her not having told Bernie he needed to. It was clear. I don't know why he didn't get a little dirtier. That solo debate with just him and Biden, he was way too soft on him. He never got in there and really tried to swing. He kept giving him the opportunity to tell the truth. He did point out, you can go to YouTube and look up many examples of Joe Biden doing all the things that he said he was doing in that debate, but he didn't push really hard. He didn't swing hard. He didn't pressure him. There was so much more he could have done. So Steve's right. He needed to get dirty, needed to fight, I think. But if you're looking at it like I was trying to look at it, and what my theory is, he empowered us as much as he could without risking his life. It's just a theory. Cancel. How do you cancel? Just not going to have it? She's afraid of trucks. She likes the cars. But that's what it is. She keeps coming to the desk when the truck rolls by. If it's a big truck, if it's like a semi or a dump truck, she'll run across the room and then come back to the window. So it kind of depends how big the truck is, how afraid she is. But cancel the primary. They're just going to try and wrap it up. They may cancel the convention. I want to get in touch with the Bernie or Vest movement because, like I said earlier, that's where we're at. This is Bernie or Vest. It's time for direct action now. This is ours now and our responsibility. So I got to get in touch with them and see what kind of organization they already have in place, because they were planning on starting this from the convention forward. But things have changed, so I'm sure that their agenda has changed as well. Jones says they're saying it is in their rules that they can remove anyone who suspends their campaign. Oh. Of course it is. Of course. Isn't that nice? Well, that explains why every mainstream media outlet is reporting Bernie quit, Bernie dropped out. No one's saying Bernie suspended his campaign. They're all saying he quit. And they're trying to make sure every regular person believes that's what happened, is Bernie quit. So whether you agree with what Bernie did or not, that's how the regular person sees it. They see it that Bernie dropped out. And I don't know how we'd recover from that. And apparently it's in their rules that they can remove him from the ballots anyway. Blue said, screw Tulsi. She shouldn't have endorsed Biden. Absolutely not. That was the ultimate betrayal. She didn't have to do that. No, I was talking about in her decision not to endorse Bernie. Maybe she had seen something, but why she endorsed Biden, I don't understand, because that goes against everything she believes. In core principles, like war. I don't understand how she could endorse Joe Biden. It doesn't make any sense. It's almost as crazy as Kamala Harris endorsing Joe Biden. Joe Biden fought against a lot of the things that Kamala Harris is most passionate about. So a lot of people acting irrational. And I wonder if Tulsi went to any Stop Bernie meetings. If she was a fake progressive from the beginning, I don't know. Everything's on the table at this point. I realized I was too trusting. Yeah, Jeff, I'm Bernie or Vest too. Bernie or riot. We go to the streets. This goes to direct action. We have to fight back. This is class warfare. This was never an election to begin with. This is much more serious than that. And that's why I'm thankful to Bernie for educating everyone and getting us aware not only of the problem and how bad things are, but that we can make changes and we can do something about it. But that's where we're at. We're at Bernie or Vest. We're at Vest. As far as this show goes and my personal philosophy and what I'll be preaching, we do direct action. This is our fight now. But it's very important to me that we don't splinter. That's why I'm going to be very inclusive. As long as you're fighting towards progress and change and making a better world, I want to be a voice that helps move that forward. Jeff says, I'm seriously baffled by this move. I knew Bernie in a solid cat, and revolutionaries' actions require pressure, and revolutionaries' actions like civil war, anarchy, etc. Yeah, he marched with Martin Luther King. He's been part of intense activism. You know, we love to share that picture of Bernie being chained to that woman and then dragged off. These are the kind of things he did his whole life, his whole career. So that's why I'm thinking that my theory is correct, that he wasn't willing to risk his life. It's a theory. Now, somebody might be mad at, or somebody I have in mind that might be mad at me for saying that, but the only reason not to keep going would be that he would be in danger. It's not that he couldn't win. It's not that he shouldn't do it. Neither one of those things is true. He would win, could win. If he, like I said, he could have taken the Green Party ticket. I think he didn't want to risk his life. His life would have been in danger, and he did everything for us he could without sacrificing himself. And that's what made me mad a lot in 2016, was a lot of people wanted blood, because I really felt like, you know what would happen to that man if he just stormed out and tried to do that? They would, I believe they would kill him. That's what they do. So although there are thousands of us, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, that would volunteer to stand around him all day long and make sure that he's protected. But I get it. He's a 78-year-old man with a family, and he did all he could for us. I really believe. And if we take it forward and keep moving forward and stay united, we can do anything we want with it. James says they may cancel the election. At this point, it really doesn't matter if they do. You know, Biden's not going to beat Trump. And if they decided to cancel it today and hold the election tomorrow, he would lose. If we let it go to November, he'd still lose. He just probably won't even be the nominee, but that nominee's going to lose. And we don't have much at stake in the presidential election. We would need to heavily focus on everything down ticket and vote for people and policy, not a Democrat. Matter of fact, if it's an establishment Democrat, vote against them. Take them down. Make sure they lose. Campaign against them. Raise awareness. Teach people about them. Jones says if he risked his life and lost, he wouldn't be in the Senate to fight for us now, and he has power there. Steve says this is all a huge transfer of wealth to the top 1%. They will buy up everything dirt cheap. We are fucked. Steve, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You really aren't. They held practice tabletop games of this scenario. They know how to enrich themselves off of it. They've pre-planned it. That's the war game we know about. But they planned out a worldwide pandemic and the reaction to it well in advance before it happened. They always benefit off of a crisis. They never let a good crisis go to waste. That's the way they run us. They control society with the the shock of these events. And they never fail to capitalize on them as much as they possibly can. They will always try to increase their power and chip away at our rights every time there is a crisis. Because if they get us good and afraid, they can get us to agree to just about anything. And that's why I said in the title that be careful what you're willing to give up in the interest of safety, in the interest of feeling safer anyway. Susan said, I was always worried for Bernie at his rallies. Remember the Nazi flag drop? Yeah, I remember that. I was always worried for him too. And that's my theory, that he had committed to doing everything he could short of that. Jones says he is a Senate Majority Leader. Blue says, watch Jimmy Dore's video today titled Working Class Third Party is Forming in America. Right on. You posted it? Okay. I'll check it out. I like Jimmy Dore, and I haven't watched him in a while. But if he's Bernie bashing still, it'll probably turn me off. Hold on a second. I have to close this door. And the only reason why I say that is because we need to just own this. What happened happened. We can't let it own us. It's our responsibility now. It's our fight. Just let's take ownership of it. And you can do that however you feel is best, because we're all just one piece of a huge puzzle. Millions of people moving together at the same time towards the same goal. Marie says, I almost watched that, but his show the day Bernie suspended his campaign was too much. Oh, I didn't see it. I haven't watched Jimmy in a while. A long time, actually. But I like him, and I'd give him another chance. So I'll check that out. But I don't want to spend too much time beating a dead horse. I think we got through all of the topics I promised in the title. See, I don't know if I need to do that either. I'm not social media savvy. I don't know how to best share and get this stuff out and promote it and make it catchy. So anybody that knows those kind of things and is good at that kind of stuff and will want to help out, let me know. Reach out to me. Tell me. Because I'm swinging in the dark. I'm trying the best I can, but I wanted to give it some idea of what you could expect when you come in, but I realized I restrained myself too much last night. I had it too locked down, and when it went sideways, I didn't know what to do, and I got too dizzy. And that's why I wanted to do this again, just because I wanted to prove to myself that it could work, and I could make it happen. I do need to soundproof this room, though. Did you hear that horn? That's something I need to get done. Marie says, I'm on Bernie or Vest, and it makes me feel better to know people are not stopping. Yeah, and I was just talking about Bernie or Vest and how I need to get in touch with them and find out what they have in place already for moving forward that we need to be focused on. Because I want to push that kind of stuff. I want to be about empowering the people and push those things. That's what I want to really focus on, things that help us, which is what I wanted the page to be when I first started this page on Facebook anyway. Our revolution, a place where people would share things about how to garden, how to grow food, how to take care of yourself, how to hunt, all kinds of things, self-care, share different things about different holistic medicines and alternative medicines, and share truth. I wanted that to be what it was, but it kind of ended up just being a place for the show. So anybody that wants to be an admin on the page would like to do that. If you have time to do something like that, get in touch with me too. And Joan says, I like the color changing sign. Thank you. I wanted to make it interesting to look at, but not distracting. So I figured if the word changed colors, that would be cool and be eye catching when people go by. But I got to tell you, naming this show, naming the feeds after myself, has kind of rattled me, especially when I can see it. Like a lot of times I can't see it, that it's up there, but I can, when I'm looking at your comments and stuff, for instance, I can't see that my name is on the screen. But when I go into the studio and I can see it, it freaks me out. I don't know why. Something about putting my name on it. But at the same time, because we did a whole feed on naming this, at the same time I realized that Joan and Ashoka, I can't remember if I'm saying his name right, but there was a viewer on YouTube. They were making the point that it's about branding and it's about doing what's in the best interest of making a name and getting that name out there. So this was the best idea forward in that way. But it freaks me out having it be my name. It's a lot of pressure because, for one, who am I? And then two, you hope you do a good job. You plaster your name on it. Marie says, let's go there and invite them to come over here to Shawn Yankey Show. Right on. Thank you. I appreciate any support helping it grow because, I don't know really how to do social media more than a regular user. A lot of people understand it. They know how and when to share and what times a day to share even and stuff like that. I don't know that stuff. Joan says they won't let you grow food this year apparently. Yeah, it's illegal in a lot of places actually, to have a garden in your front yard or sometimes to have a garden at all. It's illegal to collect rainwater in a lot of places. Why is this stuff illegal? For whose protection? My friend Josh was telling me that it's illegal, I guess here in Missouri. I mean, I haven't looked it up, don't fact check me, but illegal to hoard food for more than 6 months. To on hand have more than 6 months worth of food. I said it wrong the first time. But what I meant was to have more than that on hand is illegal apparently. Why? For whose protection? Bonnie says, what would happen if everyone stopped supporting the DNC? If everyone just stopped supporting them, I think that they would just continue to fake everything and carry on as business as usual. I think we need to actively tear them down, which means make sure that these people are removed from office, that these Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's and all of them are taken from power. And if that means losing a damn Senate and House seat, then that's what it means. Stop believing in that shit anyway. That's all blackmail to get you to not act. And it has nothing to do with Supreme Court choices either. I'm tired of being gaslighted by that kind of stuff. These people need to be removed from power. No matter what roadblock they have set in our way to stop that from happening, it still needs to be the main thing that we focus on doing. Jeff says, half my family live in Rolla. Marie says that she hadn't heard that. She's in Missouri too. I'd never heard it either. Josh said it to me. If he was here, he could maybe point it out. But something about having more than 6 months worth of food. He's a prepper, and he buys those, MERs and that stuff that lasts forever on those websites. But he had said it to me. Like I said, I didn't fact check it, but it's interesting to me. I'll have to look it up. Blue says, do you have YouTube content? Yes. And we are live on YouTube, by the way, right now. Hi, everybody on YouTube. James is here. If you're still here, I read your comment. They can cancel the election. YouTube's a quiet group a lot of the time. And I think the reason is, or at least that's what some viewers have told me, is when they comment, the stream lags. It causes interruptions in the feed. That's weird to me. So YouTube is actually a little behind Facebook when it comes to live streaming. As a content creator, Facebook is more friendly to video, and especially interactive video. YouTube, I guess, is more friendly to high definition, high quality video, but not an interactive live show. But yeah, I do have YouTube content, and I will share the link to this same show going on right now on my YouTube channel over here on Facebook right now in the feed for anybody that wants to subscribe and check out my YouTube channel, because there's a lot of videos on there on different topics. Cover all kinds of stuff. That's why I named the channel Me on Things and Stuff. It's a little bit of everything. But Jones says it's not illegal here to collect rainwater or have gardens, but they won't let you buy seeds or plants this year. They're all blocked in the store. Yes, what do you think of that? Whose protection is that for? Why are they keeping us from buying seeds and plants? What is that about? How is that keeping people safe from the coronavirus? I don't understand a lot of this stuff that's being done under the guise of our safety. I don't get how that keeps us safer, to restrict things like that. And some of these things that you're not allowed to do, like you're not allowed to like go fishing and be on. They're just harassing people all over the place. To me, it's really crazy. Blue says Periscope 2. Oh, you must have been answering somebody else. Yeah, we're live on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube now. I can stream to 5 places on the streaming service I use, but I don't know any others. If anybody knows more, message me and reach out. Let me know. I would really appreciate it, because we're just growing, and this is the second episode, so everything's uphill from here. I want to find more places to get it out in many ways as we can. Truth is really hard to get out to begin with, but we can try. Marie says they are showing all the rotting food each day and they don't want us buying seeds. I think we're in a lot of trouble. If Steve's still here, he probably agrees with me. I think we're in a lot of trouble moving forward. I think it is self-defense time, and we need to get aware and awake quick. Maybe not us, but we need to wake enough people up, get them aware, get them to realize that things are getting ready to get really bad, but they're also going to get better, because it's going to awake a lot of people when it does happen. Jeff says, order seeds online. They can't stop us. Yeah, stock up. It's time to start stocking up. It's time to start preparing. It's time to get ready. It probably was a long time ago. A lot of these people that have been screaming that were the ones that were right. And of course they were. I've just never been in a financial position to be able to prep. You know, I live paycheck to paycheck. If my car broke down tomorrow, I'd be screwed. I don't know how I would fix that if it was more than $100. So what can you really do? It's hard, but we need to start getting as ready as we can. And having your own garden and becoming self-sufficient in as many ways as you can possibly accomplish is one of the best ways to go for moving forward. The best things you can do. And then spreading truth and awareness and getting people involved and active. That's what we do. So our fight, like Bob had said to me the other day, it doesn't change. But Blue, you're right. This pandemic is changing things forever. A lot of things will never go back to normal. They will never be the same again. And they're saying that. They're outright telling you. They're open about it. It's not like they're hiding that things will never be the same again. And that's why I was telling people earlier, be careful what you're willing to agree to in the interest of being protected. Because they always sell it in that package. But read between the lines. Make sure you read the fine print and know what you're signing up for in the interest of being protected. Because the stuff they're rolling out and these ideas to protect you with, they already had them. They were already on the table. They already wanted to implement this stuff. This is their opportunity to do it. So I'm not saying that we don't need to be careful. I'm saying that they're taking this way too far. This is a test at minimal to see what they can get away with, what we'll tolerate, what we'll put up with. I think they're fucking with us in a big way, seeing what they can do, what we'll accept, what we'll keep moving forward. And my conspiracy theory side, the conspiracy theorist in me, is worried about a lot of other things, like them wanting to move to cashless society, them flirting with UBI, a lot of the Agenda 2030 things that I'm seeing roll out, that you even saw in the Green New Deal, and you see them projecting, moving in this direction. They never all say it all. They never all say it. They all say pieces of it. It's just all the warning signs are there for the end game of those that lord over us, whatever you want to call them, whoever you want to say they are. I think on simplest terms, the oligarchs that own us, these people that have bought our country off, I think they're moving into their final position and trying to lock down society into their one world system, which would be cashless. I work in the restaurant industry, and right now they got us on this new thing where we have a special cup that you put the money in, and the customer puts their money in that cup. Then I take that money, I take that cup, take the money out of that cup, then I put their change back in that cup, and I hand the cup back, and the customer takes their change out of that cup. They're conditioning us, and they're going to move to cashless. I really think that's where we're going. They're conditioning us to start being actually a little shameful, that this is a real pain in the ass, that I have to do all these extra steps just to pay with cash. Why am I messing with cash? And condition us to move away from cash and to just get on the card. And among other things, I think there's a lot going on. And Blue says conspiracy facts. They're not theories. There's so many of them turn out to be true. And really, it's naive not to be conspiratorial and be inquisitive about things and try to find out what the real truth is. Because we know for a fact that what we're told isn't the truth. So it's irresponsible not to seek it out. And you can't get there without trying. Marie says, I read this article yesterday, said China came in and bought up more farms, growing them here, shipping to process in China and back to the U.S. They're trying to cut all our food avenues. Jeff says, same here. I do keep any extra cheap seeds from the year before after season and freeze them. Good idea. Joan says, I was raised on a dairy farm, and they have been worked for a long time to take down private farmers down. They're trying to do... There's a huge agenda against the people and against our rights. And the big reason why they're going after private farmers is because, at the core of it, is because they're landowners. They own large amounts of land. Agenda 2030 is a real agenda from the United Nations, accepted by something like 32 countries. And there's maps for where people will be able to live. They want to have rights to all the land. That's part of it. So they can decide where everybody can be, what zones can be occupied and what zones can't. They want complete control of everything. And they want us packed into smart cities, like in any futuristic movie you've ever seen. Because that shit's all predictive programming. So they're just getting you ready for the future. So they want us packed in these super cities, they call them, or smart cities, but where everybody's just basically just crowded all over each other like roaches, just in tiny apartments and skyscrapers. Of course, I have a tinfoil hat on. It may look like it's fabric, but it's very high quality tinfoil, and I'm super worried because, like I said, all the warning signs are falling into place, and it kind of be irresponsible to ignore them. A lot of truthers or throwing up the red flag. And we may look foolish over it, but it'd be irresponsible not to. Everything we've been warning about's happening, and to not say it, well, I'm going to start pushing YouTube to talk. There's a reason why they're not talking to me, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because YouTube's not friendly to an interactive show. If you ever noticed when you're on YouTube, if you've ever seen a live stream over there, you got to kind of search for the comments. A big part of these kind of things is interaction. That's what's fun about it. Joan says a lot of places here won't. Were you saying won't take cash right now at all? It's happening. They're talking about it. I'm hearing my bosses talk about moving to cashless. They don't want to take cash. They don't want to deal with it. And it's just the agenda. This is just coming down from corporate, which is coming down from on top of them, and it's all loaned up by about 6 people. They want to move away from cash and put us all on digital currency. And Bill Gates slipped up in an Ask Me Anything the other day and said that they're working on a national tracking service. Now, National Digital Tracking Service. Now, what would that be? What could that possibly be? He also said that the ideal time and opportunity to insert this digital tracking would be when everybody gets this COVID-19 virus vaccination. I just thought that was incredibly interesting. That was during an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and it's just Bill Gates. That's what Babas is saying. Well, who the hell's Bill Gates? Someone that invests billions of dollars into this agenda and is listened to, goes to Bilderberg, is part of the big club that we're all not in. So, Blue says that's why I stopped creating YouTube content. I get frustrated with YouTube because of this is my style of doing things. I know YouTube's made for doing pre-made stuff that's all edited out and clean and neat and stuff like that. But I like to do live stuff. I do pre-made stuff as well, like little short mini documentaries, which you can check out on the YouTube channel. But I like the live interaction. That's one of my favorite things. That's what I actually fell in love with about doing these at first, was the comments and having conversations with you guys about important issues. And that's what I want us to do moving forward. I'll actually be discouraged if we ever get to a point where there's, hundreds of people here and I can't keep up with the comments. That'll be weird. But hopefully I'll be able to have a team of people by then if we ever got to that level where we could, moderate the comments and still be able to get a good discussion going on and cover everybody. But that's my fear. If you want to know what scares me, some people are scared of success. Whenever I think of being more popular, I'm like, well, how would I keep up with all those comments? Britney says you should go on and do an Instagram. I don't know anything about Instagram. I have it. I have it on my phone, and I have an account, but I don't know anything about it. I know you can you stream on Instagram? Britney says going live is easier, and I've heard plus more viewers. Right on. Well, I'll have to look into Instagram. Joan says you have to order what you want from the stores online, or some take call orders but must be paid electronically and drive up to pick it up. Huh. That's in Pennsylvania. See, I'm in Missouri, and we just got a lockdown. We just got put under lockdown recently. It went into effect Monday. But it doesn't seem like anyone is respecting it, honestly. I see more people out and about now than I ever really did prior to this, in the weeks prior anyway. It's almost like people were told no, and they're coming out in force to be reluctant, or not reluctant, to be rebels. I got distracted because I noticed Blue shared a video that I just watched the other day. It's a very good video. Check it out. I love Truth Stream Media. I have heroes in independent media, and they are one of my heroes. Aaron and Melissa Dykes. They have a great channel on YouTube, True Stream Media. So check that video out. It is a really good example of what I was just talking about with Bill Gates. Plus, it's funny as hell because he gets hit with a pie in the face about 1,000 times in that video. So it's a really good video. Check it out. And for the people on YouTube, let me see if I can copy that link and share it over to YouTube so that YouTube can know what video I'm talking about too. I don't know if that'll work. That's not going to work. When? See, I need a Jamie. Like, Joe Rogan's so lucky to have Jamie. I don't think Joe Rogan would be half of what he is without Jamie. Jamie is the backbone of that show. Susan said, you'd be surprised at how dirty cash money is. I worked at a Target cash office specialist. My hands were black after counting and creating the daily deposit. Oh, cash is filthy. But that ain't why they want us to be cashless. They want to get us all on a government system. Eventually. In the end. The end game. But in a one world currency, and I worry that right now that the economy may collapse and move to a new currency. They're talking about it. And the Fed's acting irresponsibly. I don't understand MMT. There are a few things I want to research. I have them written down. One of them is MMT that I want to learn about. People say it's important to learn about. I'm going to do it. I've been reluctant. I'm going to learn about it. Then I want to learn more about GMOs. A viewer has been pushing me for a long time to learn about GMOs and raise awareness about them. I am going to really try to comb through everything that this person has sent me and start covering stuff like that, raising awareness. And then I want to get into how to set up general strike and boycotts and rallies and marches. I want to do more stuff like that, direct activism. And going to be researching and looking into ways to do stuff like that. But I want to look into 5G. I want to research 5G. I've covered it, but I really want to go into it and look at it deeper. I'm worried about it, just from what I've seen, and I don't know everything about it, but I know that I'm not comfortable. Again, what are you willing to give up, or how many chances or risks are you willing to take in the interest of convenience? I think my phone is plenty fast, and the internet is just fine. I don't see any need for these hundreds of thousands of new towers to go up and to submit people to more frequencies. I don't get it. Jones says it all depends on where you go. Some places are not enforcing anything, and some only let a few people in the grocery store at a time. We're only supposed to have 22 people in our building at a time, including employees. So today, at one point, we were only allowed to have 5 customers in the building, but there was no one in there. But if there was, there would have been nobody enforcing it. Marie says that is how they're going to get us to accept being microchipped like a pet. That's what he's talking about. Bill Gates was talking about a national digital tracking system. What would that possibly be? Dr. Fauci, Trump's little doctor that they put out every day for the coronavirus press conferences, he wants to have a digital identification card. They're all talking about how we all need to be identified as having had this vaccine when there's a vaccine. That will be, it sounds like, mandatory, and that you will be, there will be a social stigma to not having it. You will not be part of a system. You won't be in their national tracking or whatever that accounts for. It's kind of scary when you think about it. What does it account for? You know, what does that mean? Are you now an enemy combatant? Are you an enemy of the state now that because you didn't get a vaccination? Jones says you can't save seeds from GMO seeds. They won't grow or produce anything. That you can also get charged if you try to save the seeds. Why? Again, who is that in the interest of? Who is that protecting? And what is that for? What are these laws for? To stop you from saving seeds? Well, it makes no sense. Somebody I would like to see get some support, and I want to mention while we're doing the show today, is David Sirota. I pushed the burn notice a lot during the Daily Burn. I talked about the burn notice all the time. That was Bernie's newsletter. David Sirota was the head writer. Well, he's doing his own thing now. He's got a page. I'm going to copy the address and share it over to Facebook. But he's got a page now, a newsletter called TMI, Too Much Information. And check that out and subscribe to it. I'm going to share the web address on both feeds real quick. But I wanted to mention that because he's a really good writer. And he says he's going to cover the kind of things that are right down our alley that we're interested in. So I would love to hear and see the stuff that he's going to get into. But I shared the link to both feeds if you guys want to check out TMI. But that's David Sirota, the head writer of the Burn Notice newsletter. That's his new gig. That's what he's doing now. Marie said GMO seeds cannot reproduce. They might have seeds, but they do nothing. I need to educate myself more. I want to learn a lot more about GMOs. And 5G. Those are the main ones that I'm putting on my agenda to really educate myself on. Jeff says a round table. A round table would be a good idea. I don't know what that's in reference to, but we need to discuss these things. I need to get people on, like Jeff is saying, like have these discussions. Bring on different groups. Get somebody from Bernie or Vest and some other people and have a discussion of how to best move forward and organize and get some of this stuff done. Blue says I follow Sirota on Twitter. I do too. I'm on Twitter, by the way, at Shawn Yankey. I don't know how to tweet. I don't know what I'm doing. And I've not caught on much over there, but we're on Twitter. We're streaming on Twitter right now, actually, on Periscope. This is our second show on Periscope, so welcome to the Periscope audience. I still haven't figured that out, so I can't see if you're here. I've got to figure out how to watch the comments on Periscope because I don't like to ignore people. And that's what threw me off last night at the show. I tried to do something to help share it. I tried to cross-post it to different pages. Well, it ended up separating the comments up into 7 different pages. I was so frustrated. It really was breaking my heart because I was like, oh, the show is ruined. Because when you take away the comments, I flounder. I can't without the comments. Brittany says, start looking into it. It took a while to convert me, but I love Instagram. For the stuff we talk about, Twitter too, but not much for going live. It reaches way more people. I will look at Instagram and check that out. But thanks, guys, for following this and watching it. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a while. And did I get my point across about how I don't feel that Bernie failed us? But I understand if you're mad. And it's okay to be mad, but that if we really just understand that we keep moving forward, no matter what. Don't judge people that are upset. I think we need to give them time to grieve anyway. But we move forward. We move forward. That's what we do now. That's the most important thing. Nothing changed for us. Blue says I'm starting over on a backup on Twitter. I got stoned and called Hillary the dyslexic version. I didn't use the dyslexic version, though. I had 3,000 followers, then poof, gone. They pulled your account. I know somebody that got pulled for hate speech. I didn't know him, but he was a guy I was following on Twitter. He deserved it, too. He was complaining that he lost all his followers, but I don't remember what it was, but it was something ignorant that he said. But yeah, Hillary is a TNUC. She is. She's an evil person. Hillary is one of the most evil people walking the planet. She's a horrible, horrible person. And I think she's responsible for some very, very terrible things. I don't have any proof, though. And also, I'm not suicidal in any way. So if something happens to me, I was talking about Hillary Clinton. And that is not a coincidence. Susan says, hang in there, Shawn. I agree. I still need more time to grieve, but I'm coming around. Yeah, like I said, everything's still on the table. This is the Bernie. This is my Bernie shirt. I'm still in the fight. I'm still in the game. Still love the dude. I just want us to make sure that we stay focused on moving forward united and keep moving towards the things that we were trying to do. Nothing ends for us. Nothing changed. And I don't want to take myself away from what's important to sit around and go, I'm pissed at Bernie. Bernie should have done this. Bernie should have done that. Bernie didn't do this. Why didn't Bernie do that? How come Bernie did this? Bernie did all he could do, and what Bernie did for us is in play now. We can do it all ourselves now. I really love that analogy Dion gave me, that Bernie took the training wheels off. That I wish I'd have been the one to say that, because that's exactly what happened. We're on our own now. It's up to us how this moves forward. But I think that's the most important thing, that we keep working and we don't fall apart here. Jones says, and I'm not mad at Bernie, just heartbroken that we may not end up seeing any change for another 4 years. Not if we wait on somebody to do it for us, but if we do what I'm saying, we can change our reality right now. We can begin making these changes we want to see right now. We don't have to wait for anything. We don't have to wait for permission. We have the power to make changes to our reality. You see what I'm saying? We can do this. We are the ones that changed the narrative. We changed all the talking points. Bernie didn't do all that on his own. Everything that you see that has changed, we did that. I work in the restaurant industry. I've seen pay go up by almost $5 in the last 2 years in my industry. We did that. We pushed for that stuff. There was nobody else. I will watch that interview, Blue, but we've done a lot, and we can do the rest of it as well. We don't have to stop. We can do anything we want. So keep moving forward and keep fighting. This is still a revolution. And that's why I will leave the page named Our Revolution. And I won't change it. Because it is ours. It was never Bernie's. It was always ours. And if we remember that and do the work, we can win. Jeff says, stay safe and nice work. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. I'm kind of amazed that it all went so well. Because I was mad about how it didn't. I had technical problems last night, and I had made a promise to myself that if I did, I was going to ignore them. I was going to push through them and do whatever it took to just keep going. But I didn't do that. I focused on them, and the whole thing went sideways. It was kind of embarrassing. I don't know what to do in that situation. I think I handled it the best way I could have, but I haven't even watched it back yet. Blue says, I'm just really pissed that Bernie is propping up Biden. I haven't paid attention to anything Bernie's doing since Wednesday at all. So I need to look and see what Bernie's doing. And I'll probably be pissed too if that's what he's doing. If he's spending his time propping up Biden, if he's going on media and talking about Joe Biden, I'm going to be upset with Bernie Sanders myself. So I'm going to have to look into that and see what Bernie's up to. And I want to start paying more attention because I want to be able to cover news and stuff on here as well. So I'm going to start doing more research and things like that and improve the feeds. But all of this just grew out of live streaming. I started live streaming like 4 years ago, and I just kind of fell in love with doing it. And we went through, I don't know, at least 10 different shows on the way to this one. And this will be an incorporation of all of them. There's Conspiracy Theories and Chill, Yankey Rants, Hindsight News, all kinds of shows that we've done over the years. It's all going to roll into one with this now. So I'm going to have to start doing more research and staying real informed so we can talk about some really cool stuff. Joan says you did great yesterday. Thank you. I need to watch it back because I always try to answer comments, but I couldn't even watch it back. I was so frustrated with myself because I build it up in my head, I have an idea of how things will go before I start. And then when it doesn't match up, especially when it goes really sideways and I can't pull it back on the rails, I get so mad at myself about it. Blue says you like the format. Thank you. I like this idea too, and I'm hoping that it catches on more on YouTube and Facebook as well. I would love to see it grow. I'd love to see it get popular. And I think it's needed and important. Just a good conversation with, information and opinions and in a positive light, telling people you can make things better, we can make changes, we can fight against this stuff, and then trying to figure out the best ways to fight. James says it's been streaming perfect today. Right on, because James has had a lot of problems. YouTube has been a lot of technical difficulties getting YouTube going. Multi-streaming is kind of hard. James says I have people walk in and I can't do two things at once. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Blue, it's a process. We'll get there. I just, and I'm, like I said, I'm completely okay with it now. I made too big a deal of it yesterday. And it was because I put my name on it. Why is that? Psychologically, what got weird when I put my name on it? Susan says maybe have us ask questions on your page to print out if the stuff goes poof live. Yeah, you know what? On the page you can do that. You can pick a topic and have people ask questions, I think. So I need to learn more about my page and what I can do with it. And again, if anybody is interested in being an admin and helping out with the page and knows about that kind of stuff and would help teach me, reach out and let me know. But it is a process, and I know that. We're going to be solid one day. You're going to look back on this and be like, I remember when he was doing this, and that. No one's going to believe you because they're going to be like, nah, that guy's a pro. Susan said, Joan said the only place we can have a good discussion without a fight. And I'm open to all kind of different views. So there may come a time. I have a good friend that I've had on multiple times. He's a Trump supporter. He may come on again. So I open myself up to other views and I try to make it where we can have a discussion without having a fight and share opinions and find some common ground. That's what this is going to be about, is getting society to work together and use our true power, which is our numbers and our voice. But thanks for watching this feed and hanging out with me a little bit on a Saturday of all things. I appreciate it. And we'll see you at our regular time, which is every weeknight, Monday through Friday, at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So check it out. We'll be on every night, every weeknight at 7, 8 Eastern. So I'll see you guys on the next feed. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to watch yesterday's feed right after this show. So I'm going to answer comments and stuff from yesterday. If you're wondering why I didn't see it, that's why. I was being too hard on myself, but I'm going to watch it. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you Monday for the next official episode of The Yankey Show.